Hey guys, today is the Liberation Day. We got liberated. It's Wednesday, April 2nd. Trump just announced his reciprocal tariffs and other tariffs, and he calls it the Liberation Day. So let's see what happened. He announced a 10% baseline tariffs on all countries. He showed 50 of them. They have calculated all the tariffs that each of these countries have placed on the US, and they will also be reciprocating. Other than the 10%, they will also be reciprocating with half of the other country charges the US. So these are pretty substantial tariffs. And everything we know from economics and 100 years of research and empirical data is that tariffs will push prices up. And this is something that very weirdly a lot of people have been dismissing, but since Trump got elected, every month we've seen acceleration in inflation and CPI numbers. A lot of people have been front running tariffs, importing too much more at the fear of tariffs, and this will just continue. The next thing that will happen is if you are hit by a shock to your input prices, the next thing you will do is you will pass on those costs to the consumer. The consumer doesn't have endless pocket, so they will cut back on spending. When they cut back on spending, your economic activity slows down, and some of the inflation subsides, so you get disinflation, but then you also get recessionary fears. And it's exactly at that point that I think Trump administration will begin scaling back these tariffs. So if these tariffs actually last for a long time, they will have all these effects, inflation, and then substituted by a recession. But this whole team is business friendly, and their whole game is to support the American economy. So the moment the data actually tells them that this is the impact of the tariffs, I'm pretty sure that they will change course. They already showed pretty significant signs of willingness to make a deal. First of all, Trump came out with kind tariffs, meaning they only charged the trade partners half the tariffs they were planning it originally. And that's very clear why they did this, because they realized equal levels of tariffs will just damage global economy, and they will damage the other country, and they'll damage the United States, US economy. So that's already an admission that they acknowledge the risks to these tariffs. But they couldn't not do it because they had promised it, and it's going to be working very well with the base, with the voter base, and so on. So we do have this political side to this, other than the economic side. They have to go along with it for some time. But the great thing, the silver lining, I should say, in all this is that they are willing and very much ready to cut exemptions and drop tariffs as soon as the other country drops them. So many of the countries on the other side, they don't have any leverage. They don't have anything to retaliate with. They're not really importing much from the United States. So they will have to make some deals. Their best choice is not to retaliate and instead drop their own tariffs, because it wouldn't be substantial, but then they will be getting rid of massive US tariffs. So overall, their best game theoretic choice is to come to the table and make a deal. And Trump administration loves that, and they're going to advertise the hell out of it, and they're going to market it a lot. And once they are past that, they can claim victory and focus on other parts of their policy, such as tax cuts and deregulation and supporting energy production and everything that's market positive. So this is why these tariffs especially, are very complex. Like on their own, ceteris paribus, they are really damaging. But knowing that they are being now used as a temporary tool to get rid of the other tariffs by other countries, and also score some political points and play to the voter base, overall, especially given the team that they have, it's all business friendly people. They will definitely know what they're doing and how much damage these tariffs will cause. And especially Scott Bessent is on record telling his investors that tariffs are not good tools. before he gets into politics. So they all know what's going to happen, and they will cut it short before it really causes a recession. So regardless of what the markets do, maybe they'll have a knee-jerk reaction immediately or not. I think recession fears are overrated at this point, but and the market has been pricing in pretty bad scenarios. At least we got kind tariffs instead of full reciprocal tariffs. So I think I'm much more optimistic now after observing what happened, and it really does seem to be a temporary phase before an actual trade deal is signed and done. And we already have heard from a bunch of countries, like I said, like Mexico, they said they're not looking for retaliation. They just can't retaliate. That would be terrible. They would be damaging their own countries if they do that. Instead, if they drop their own tariffs, they will benefit a ton by getting rid of the U.S. tariffs. So my guess is in the coming weeks, we will be hearing from a lot of other countries that they will drop their tariffs and then make deals, and Trump will love it and will promote it. And that will end up blunting, that will end up taming the negative effects of all these tariffs. And then if that's gone, then the rest of Trump policy is growth positive and helpful for financial markets, and the worst will be behind us. So I'm much more optimistic now, and let's watch the markets and see what unfolds in the next few days. Thank you, everyone.